Before you click away, I need to be very clear about something. I am not sitting here telling you that Estevão is already better than Lamine Yamal, Vinicius Jr, or Rodrygo. Not at all. These three players have done absolutely incredible things in Europe. They are superstars at the biggest clubs in the world. Vinicius plays for Real Madrid and is one of the best players on the planet. Rodrygo also plays for Real Madrid and is a proven Champions League winner. Lamine Yamal plays for Barcelona and just won a second Copa trophy in a row. These are elite players. Welcome back, football fans! Before we break down these stats, drop a comment telling me which country you are watching from, and if you love comparing young talent like this, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel because we break down football talent every single week. Now let's dive into this. What I am telling you is that when you look purely at international statistics, Estevão's numbers are actually insane. I mean, truly insane for an 18-year-old. His efficiency rate, his goal-to-game ratio, his impact at international level, it is genuinely ahead of where these other players were at the same age. And that is a fact, not an opinion. Let me prove it to you. Let us start with the basic numbers. Estevão made his Brazil debut on September 6th, 2024. That was just 2 months before his 18th birthday. He came into the squad as a young prospect from Palmeiras, and people were not sure what to expect. But in just 4 months since that debut, Estevão has scored 5 goals in 11 appearances for Brazil. 5 goals in 11 games. His goal per game ratio is 0.45. That means he scores almost 1 goal every 2.5 games. Think about that for a second. This 18-year-old is coming off the bench sometimes. He is starting sometimes. He's adapting to international football. He's playing against established national teams. And he is still scoring at this rate. In some games, he plays 15 minutes. In other games, he plays the full 90. Yet he still finds the net. That is efficiency personified. Now let me give you context by looking at the 3 players you asked me to compare. Let us start with Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal made his Spain debut on September 8th, 2023. He was 16 years and 57 days old. That is younger than Estevão. Yamal came into the squad and immediately made an impact. He scored in that debut game against Georgia. By the time the Euros came around in summer 2024, Yamal was already one of Spain's most dangerous attacking players. Since his debut in September 2023, Lamine Yamal has played 23 games for Spain. That is a lot of appearances for a young player. In those 23 matches, he has scored 6 international goals. That gives him a goal per game ratio of 0.26. Less than 1 goal every 4 games. Now compare that to Estevão. Estevão plays in Brazil, which is a competitive confederation, yes, but his goal ratio is 0.45. That is almost double Yamal's ratio. Yamal plays for Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. He has access to everything. Yet at international level, Estevão is scoring at nearly twice the rate. But wait, there is more context. Yamal plays for Spain, which won Euro 2024. Spain is a possession-based team that plays beautiful football. They do not rely on individual moments. They work as a unit. Estevão plays for Brazil, which is also highly organized but has a different style. Brazil relies more on individual flair. So actually, the fact that Estevão is scoring more frequently in this system says something. And here is another thing. Yamal also finished runner-up for the Ballon d'Or in 2025. He won the Copa trophy twice. He is genuinely one of the best young players in world football. So when I say Estevão's ratio is ahead of his, I am not disrespecting Yamal. I am just showing you that on pure international statistics, Estevão is outperforming. Now let us talk about Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr made his Brazil debut in June 2021. He was 20 years old, much older than Estevão. He was also already established at Real Madrid. He had been at the club since 2018 and 19. He was not a teenager anymore. He was a grown man playing for one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Since his debut in June 2021, Vinicius Jr has played 45 games for Brazil. In those 45 games, he has scored 8 goals. That is a goal per game ratio of 0.17, less than 1 goal every 5.5 games. Now think about this. Vinicius is arguably the best player in the world right now. He is 24 years old, he is at his prime, he has played for Brazil numerous times, and yet his international ratio is 0.17. Estevão is 18 and his ratio is 0.45. That is more than 2.5 times better. This is actually a common thing with Vinicius. His international record is surprisingly poor considering how elite he is at club level. Compared to Rafinha, who has 7 goals in 27 caps for Brazil, Vinicius has only 5 goals in 35 appearances. That is almost half the ratio of Rafinha. So it is not unique that Estevão is outperforming him. It just shows that international football and club football are very different things. But the crazy part is that Estêvão, a teenager, is already ahead of Vinicius on international ratio. That is the story nobody's talking about. Now, let us talk about Rodrygo. Rodrygo made his Brazil debut in September 2019. He was 18 years old, just like Estevão. So this is actually a fair comparison. 2 wingers, both 18, both making their Brazil debuts. How did they do? Rodrygo has played 35 games for Brazil since his debut in 2019. In those 35 games, he has scored 9 goals. That gives him an international ratio of 0.25, 1 goal every 4 games. Estevão has played 11 games and scored 5 goals, ratio of 0.45. Even when you compare them at the same age, Estevão is ahead. Rodrygo needed many more games to reach this level of efficiency. Estevão got there in just 4 months. Now here is the thing that really matters. Rodrygo has had years to develop this ratio. He is 24 years old now, Estevão is 18. If Estevão maintains this trajectory, he could reach incredible numbers by the time he is Rodrygo's age. So let me break down what these numbers actually tell us. First, it shows that Estevão has an incredible finishing ability. At 18, in a new environment, playing for the national team against world-class defenders, he is finding the net at an elite rate. This is not luck, this is not chance. This is a young player with genuine quality. Second, it shows that his efficiency is remarkable compared to these other players. Even though Yamal, Vinicius, and Rodrygo are all elite talents who play for the biggest clubs in the world, Estevão's goal ratio is better. That tells you something about his international mentality and his confidence in front of goal. Third, and this is important, it shows that Estevão is not a one-dimensional player. He is not just a passer or just a dribbler. He is a genuine goal scorer. Looking at his performances, he has scored penalties, he has scored from open play, he has scored from both feet, he can finish in the box or from distance. That versatility in finishing is elite, but I need to tell you something important before I finish. These comparisons do not mean Estevão is better than these players overall. Yamal plays for Barcelona, one of the best teams in the world. His club performances have been extraordinary. He helped Barcelona win the league, he finished second in the Ballon d'Or, at club level he is elite. Vinicius plays for Real Madrid and just won the Ballon d'Or. He's one of the best players on the planet. His performances in Champions League finals, in El Clásicos, in big moments are legendary. At club level, he's untouchable. Rodrygo plays for Real Madrid and has won multiple Champions Leagues. He has scored crucial goals in the biggest games. He has been tested at the highest level and delivered. At club level, he is elite. But when we are talking about international football specifically, when we are looking at their efficiency and impact at international breaks, the statistics tell us that Estevão is ahead of all 3 right now. That is just facts. And here's the crazy part. These numbers are likely to get even better. Estevão is 18. He's still adapting to international football. He's still learning how to play at this level. In 6 months, in 1 year, his numbers could be even more impressive. His ratio could go up to 0.5 or higher. Imagine if Estevão plays 100 games for Brazil by the time he's 24, like Vinicius has. If he maintains a ratio of 0.45, he would have 45 goals. That would put him among the elite Brazilian scorers of all time. Now, you might be asking why his international ratio is so high compared to club level. At Chelsea, he has 4 goals in about 16 games. That is also a good ratio, but not as high as international. The reason is likely because Estevão is still adapting to English football. At international level, he knows his teammates better, he understands the system better, and he has been there from the start. At Chelsea, he's the new player trying to fit into an established system. Give him time and his club ratio will probably rise to match his international ratio. So yes, when looking purely at international statistics during the international break, Estevão is ahead of Yamal, ahead of Vinicius Jr, and ahead of Rodrygo. His goal per game ratio is higher, his efficiency is higher, his impact is higher. But that does not mean he's a better player overall. It just means that on international breaks when Brazil plays, you should be very excited to watch this 18-year-old because he's doing something very special. He is scoring at a rate that elite players take years to achieve. He is breaking records that stood for 66 years. He is the future of Brazilian football. Do I think Estevão will have a better career than these 3 players? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell. But what I do know is that right now, at this moment, his international statistics are absolutely elite. They are better than 3 of the biggest young talents in world football. And that deserves recognition. So there you have it. The numbers do not lie. Estevão is already ahead of Yamal, Vinicius, and Rodrygo on international statistics. Not at club level, not overall, but specifically when we are talking about international football. And during the international break, that is what matters. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the stats, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment telling me which player you think will have the best international career by age 25. Is it Estevão? Is it Yamal? Is it one of the others? I genuinely want to hear your predictions. And remember, football is about so much more than statistics. Yamal can still win 10 Ballon d'Ors, Vinicius can still be remembered as one of the best players ever, Rodrygo can still break records, Estevão could flame out or he could become a legend. Statistics tell a story, but they do not tell the whole story. But for now, during this international break, Estevão is the one scoring at the highest rate. Estevão is the one breaking records. Estevão is the one showing that he belongs among the elite young talents in world football. See you in the next one.